Welcome to the Content Matters podcast, where digital content and marketing pros talk shop. Tech may be changing fast, but great content is timeless. Get inside tips, trends, and practical know-how from the top minds in the digital content industry. Sponsored by Ingenix, the uniquely agile content management platform. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Content Matters podcast. It's great to have you back on this nice sunny day. And I'll warn you, just like I warned my guest, if you hear birds chirping, it's because I have my windows open and it's a beautiful day and I can't deny the birds making their lovely sounds for us. So I want to introduce you to Ken Mafli. He's the Senior Digital Marketing Manager at Townsend Security, and he's responsible for brand awareness. He manages the lead generation team, and he's helping the company move forward with initiatives like account-based marketing. He's been working as a marketer for the last 10 years, and he's learned a thing or two about SEO and content strategy, which he's going to share with us today. And before we get started, I want to make sure or to say that Ken isn't an analyst. He's not a consultant. He is a practitioner. He's building and implementing marketing strategies on a daily basis, and it's really great to get that unique perspective on the podcast. So welcome, Ken.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
And I hope no one gets the jokes about the Barbie and Ken, which I didn't say this is Barb, But,
yeah, no, I do still get that, even though I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, it's just how it is. So tell me, you've been a consultant, and now you're working for a brand directly, and you worked for a brand directly before you were a consultant. Is there a difference in how you approach the work you do for the different kinds of roles?
Absolutely, there is. As a consultant, you really have to put on two hats. One as being the teacher and the other being a practitioner. So a lot of times when companies hire you as a consultant, they need you because they either have a deficiency in skill set or time, and most likely it's both. So a lot of times when you're coming in, you're building a campaign, you're getting the relevant stakeholders on board, but they don't have any prior experience with you. So you really have to come with the heart of a teacher and lead them through the process as to why each component is needed and relevant. And then once you get that buy-in, then it's about executing on the plan, as well as continuing to follow up with how things are going, why we're doing things a certain way, why we have to pivot and edit the plan. With being as part of an in-house marketing team, though, you kind of build up that internal reputation. People have been with you for years, and so in the beginning, you have to come with that heart of a teacher. But over time, a lot of that becomes shorthand as people work with you longer and longer. So then it just becomes more about executing and being able to pivot quickly when unexpected challenges come. People are more on board in an in-house shop, because they know you work well with the team. So you can be a little bit more agile when you're in-house. At least that's what I've found.
Okay. It definitely makes a lot of sense, and I can see how it would work that way. So as an in-house marketer, do you think things have changed in the content space today? Like has it changed how you approach the way you do marketing, content marketing? Oh,
Barb, I don't know about you, but in the last 10 years, things have changed dramatically. When I was first started to do digital marketing 10 plus years ago, it really was about, building, great content, typically in the form of a blog post, on a website, maybe adding some images, breaking up the text so it wasn't monotonous, having a good user experience, but it really was a text-heavy experience. And, even back then there was Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. But a lot of times, with Twitter, it was just, put a link up of your post, a little blurb about it, and kind of attract some attention that way. Well, nowadays it's omni-channel focused.
Yeah.
Every piece of content has to be customized for the particular channel that you're using. So, whether it be custom-sized images, graphics, videos, in my book, it's changed for the better. I get geeked out and excited you get to use all these different mediums to interact with your audience. But it definitely has upped my game in the last 10 years.
Do you think it's hard to keep up? Because as a consultant, you're kind of given a certain amount of time to brush up and stay up to date on the latest approaches and techniques, and everything's not written, it's video, it's audio, it's combinations, it's different channels, like you said. But when you're in-house doing the work, it seems like you don't get as much time to kind of figure out if this newest thing really is something that you want to do. Like, do you find that's kind of a challenge?
It's interesting, and I think it depends on the in-house marketing shop that you're in. In the environment that I'm in, I have a lot of latitude to explore new things. So, as an example, my CEO was actually game in letting me make him into an animated character a couple weeks ago. So, for our latest video that we produced. Patrick Townsend became an animated character and, explained some pretty difficult concepts, but it all worked, I think if you're a part of a team that allows for experimentation and explicitly allows for failure, you can get in and try new things, and, see what sticks, see what doesn't, do better next time. I think you're able to kind of keep on top of the latest trends. But if you're in an environment that doesn't allow for experimentation, that could be kind of rough with keeping up with things.
Yeah. So definitely you want to be in a company that is definitely open and wants to be not necessarily innovative, but definitely trying new ways to get attention and get engaged with your customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so there's a good thing to talk about there is you talked about, omni-channel, different channels. And going along with that is this idea of figuring out the right segments and audiences that you're trying to reach across, and how you reach them across these different channels. So how do you kind of figure out that right match and figuring out not just the people you want to talk to that have the buying power, but also the ones that have the influence towards purchasing your solution or products?
Oh man, that comes down to research.
Yeah.
We are disciplined when it comes to building out our buyer personas.
Mm-hmm.
And really that comes down to not only interviewing our current customers, but also reaching out and interviewing some of our closed lost opportunities to those who will talk to us. Because not only do we want to see, who they are, why they initially came to us, but why they chose to maybe go elsewhere or not do anything at this time. So that research is invaluable. For us, we actually hired someone to come in and do that because all of our plates were full, and she just did a phenomenal job. The feedback that we got back from our clients and our closed lost opportunities really helped us craft 5 personas that then we were able to start to interrogate those personas and say, okay, for persona 1, what kind of keywords would they use to find us? What kind of questions would they be asking? What kind of content would they be consuming in the awareness, consideration, and decision stage of the buyer's journey? And once we began to map all that out, it became pretty apparent what we did well as far as filling in our content and what gaps we had and where we needed to fill. So to kind of sum up the too long didn't read answer of your question, really is research in building accurate personas.
And something that you have to kind of stay up on all the time. Like you can't just create the persona or the personas, like you said, you've got 5, and just assume they're always going to stay that way, and their content preferences at different stages are always going to stay that way, right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, because 5 years ago, I think we had 8 personas.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and we realized, oh, okay, I think that's probably, you know, we can probably boil this down a little bit. And it was that continued research of continuing to interview clients to understand, okay, because, you know, basically the question you're asking is what pain point did we fill when they purchased our product? And it really came down to 5 pain points, and that's when we restructured.
Okay. So when you developed your personas and started working on your content for them, you must have been thinking about SEO, obviously, big topic,
Absolutely.
big thing, but it's also going through its own evolution. So when you think of SEO and how that relates to how you're approaching it, how do you find it's changed, or has it changed at all?
Oh boy, it has come light years from where it was 10, 12 years ago when I got in the game. You know, 10, 12 years ago, Google was threatening the SEO world, basically saying, hey, stop all your shenanigans. You know, as far as like keyword stuffing and black hat link building tactics, you know, private blog networks, you know, the works. You know, stop the shenanigans, just build content that people really want to consume, answers user queries, and is naturally linkable. And, you know, it'll happen. And at the time, the SEO world kind of threw up their hands and said, yeah, we've already tried that. It doesn't work. Well, Google has made good on its promise in building an entirely new ranking algorithm called RankBrain that actually studies user engagement metrics to specific web pages, and then through that user engagement metrics are able to upgrade or downgrade a web page's ranking on the search engine results pages. So actually building engaging content now is a primary way that you get higher in Google's search pages. So I think it's a great time to be in SEO. It has changed a lot, but we're much better able to focus on the user experience and give people exactly what they want.
So is SEO now kind of equated to content strategy, or is content strategy the bigger picture and SEO is a key component of that?
That's a good question. Yeah, because obviously there's still technical things that you have to do to your content in order for Google to best understand what you're talking about. So, you know, a lot of the technical components of do you have the main keyword in the URL? Is it in an H1 tag? You know, all the technical stuff you do to send the right signals. But then once you have those technical things down, it's about fully exploring a topic and allowing a user to ask a question and get a full and complete answer, so much that they actually want to go deeper into your website. So I think there's always going to be that technical component of SEO just to optimize the page. There's the UX component, and then ultimately it is about getting authority signals so that Google understands that your page is seen by the community as an authoritative page by link building, by promoting on social media, you know, having those user engagement metrics on social media. So I think SEO still plays a dominant role, but now it's equally weighted with user experience.
Okay. And what about voice search? Like, I know that voice search and digital, voice assistants, whatever, are super, super popular in the B2C community. But is it just as important to kind of think about that and have SEO a strategy around voice for B2B, which is what your company does?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. And a few years ago, when voice search really started to come on the scene, it really had a lot of SEO folks freaking out, right? Because now do we have to, change our strategy so that everything is in the form of a question,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what do we do here? And once the dust settled, I think the consensus came back, and at least it's the answer or conclusion I've come to, is if we're building content for our personas, we are automatically looking for the questions that they're asking in each step of the buyer's journey, and we're answering them. So it has changed the game a little bit. I think even on the B2B stage, because let's be honest, a lot of B2B customers are doing their Google searches during work hours, so it's on a desktop of some kind, whether it be a laptop or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So voice search isn't as dominant there, but I would say, at least in our experience, a large majority of people are finding us via mobile. And so it's fair to assume that a lot of them are also finding us via some kind of voice search. And again, we haven't felt a bump, when that change started to happen, because we were already answering questions. And so we were putting things in the form of a question and then providing the answer. And that made that transition pretty simple.
Okay, so let's kind of go there a bit more then. You said you kind of putting your content in question-like format. That is, I assume you're talking about this creation of this idea of a pillar page, something that HubSpot kind of coined. I think they coined it for these long form pages that really present in-depth information on a topic. So I assume that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
A quick pause to say thank you to Ingenix, the Content Matters sponsor. Ingenix is a leading provider of agile content management solutions. You can check them out at ingenix.com. Okay, so how did you learn about this approach, and why did you kind of determine that this was really important to you, and why a B2B brand especially would want to create this kind of in-depth content for their customers?
Oh, absolutely. Great question. And it's funny. It kind of ties into a little bit of our story of the last 2.5 years, because we were doing really well with our inbound marketing. We got in early on inbound marketing, and so really for 4 or 5 years, we were just having year over year growth with our organic search. Things are doing really well. And then in 2015, 2015 or 16, I'm getting the dates a little, it's becoming a bit fuzzy now. Mm-hmm. We experienced a lot of our growth just evaporated within a couple months. It was a really frustrating time for us, because we weren't doing anything different, but all of a sudden our organic growth really began to suffer. And once we kind of did a deep dive, did a market analysis to figure out what was going on, we realized we've always known this, but we are a David in a room full of Goliaths. We have both keyword and product competitors that spend more in marketing in 1 month than we likely will in a year, and that just is the way it is. We're a smaller company. We have a quality product, but our competitors, they have a lot more money to throw around. So we realized that the competitive landscape was changing, and that's likely what was going on. And we needed to switch strategies or augment our strategy to better compete. So through the course of this market analysis, we were talking to our HubSpot consultant, and they were just coming out with this marketing methodology called topic clusters. And the prime component of the topic cluster methodology is the pillar page. And those who have been in SEO would likely recognize the pillar page as a skyscraper page, or a web page that just in every way is 10x above your keyword competitors. It has more, it goes more in depth on the topic. It fleshes out each subtopic. It has more helpful graphics. It has more images. It has more videos. It just, the UX design of it, there's navigation, everything that you can do to make this a wonderful experience for your user. You're going to do it, and you're going to do it 10x above all your keyword competitors. And then supporting that and around that is at least 8 or more blog posts, videos, infographics that surround it, each more fully fleshing out each subtopic of that topic. And then those all link back to your pillar page. So I don't think I even took one look at it. I think I took about a half look at it, and I just said, this is it. This is it, because all of my prior SEO knowledge led to the place of this is all the white hat tactics of SEO put into a single methodology. So perfect. Let's, and my boss, the director of marketing, I don't think he even had to take a full look. He's like, yeah, this is it. This is what we've been looking for. So we spent 3 months designing our first pillar page and getting it live, and then spent the next 3 months tweaking it, sending that signal to Google, like, hey, we're not done with this. We want to keep on improving this till we get it perfect. And then spent an additional 6 months promoting it, and the results have been phenomenal.
So they're not like these topic pages, these pillar pages. They're not about your product, though, right? They're about a concept or an idea around your products. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, excellent. Yes, and that probably fully fleshes out your question. I realize I probably went a little sideways on going down story lane. You're absolutely right. So going back to the concept of voice search, at the very top of our pillar page, we ask the question, what is encryption key management? And then we spend the rest of that pillar page answering that question. So yes, it is more high level. It's more educational and informative. The first one we built is a very awareness stage for most of our personas, but it satisfies that itch of what is encryption key management, and from start to finish, we did our best to answer that. So we actually named the page the Definitive Guide to Encryption Key Management Fundamentals, because that's you're right, informative. Grab people early, start talking to them early about encryption key management.
How did that page work out for you? What were the results that you saw?
We couldn't have asked for anything better, honestly. I think so. We launched it in January of 2017, and so which makes the start of my story 2016, not 15. We launched that in January, and by September of that year, we were ranking #1 for the top handful of keywords that we wanted to rank for.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So obviously that means that finding the right keywords that you want to cover is top of mind, critical, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that literally is the headwater of SEO.
It sounds like it took a lot of time and a lot of work to create it, but the payback was even better. So have you done more pillar pages since then, or is that kind of your guiding light right now?
Yeah, once we had the success that we had with with that pillar page. We actually created 4 more and then surrounded it with topic cluster blog posts and infographics and videos and whatnot. And those have done phenomenally well as well. We're very pleased with how we're performing in the search engine results pages and just the organic traffic that we've been able to get now year over year.
Are they connected on your website, or are they kind of standalone pages that are just linked through, targeted AdWords and search and stuff like that?
Yeah, so they are their own web page. They're not a part of the blog or anything like that. And then we have very strategic links both on our blog and our main website that link to them. So they're kind of an integral part of the website. But yes, they are standalone pages.
Okay, but that's what I was wondering. Are they part of the website? Because some people will create this kind of content, but not have it really top navigation or whatever on your website. It's just kind of there, and they find it through searching and stuff like that, but they don't make it part of their navigation or a key component of their web experience.
Correct. Yeah. So not a part of our top nav. We experimented and found that the best placement for them was on the right sidebar of our blog post, our blog, I should say, mm-hmm. And then as part of our resource section in our main website.
Okay. And so you said it's a lot of written content. And is there a video? Do you do video and kind of any kind of audio that goes along with it or anything?
Yeah. So as part of the main pillar page, our definitive guide to encryption key management, that one actually has an intro video. It has 9 or 10 graphics and then 2 interactive graphics. So you're actually able to click into them and get more information because they're pretty dense flowcharts, and so we wanted to make that as interactive as possible.
They sound really interesting. I can see why people would, if they really wanted to know about that particular topic, why they would kind of be drawn to it and really kind of consume as much of it as possible. How do you kind of, put a call to action in there that kind of points them back to, yeah, we know all of this because we create these products that support this capability. I assume you want to show that in some way.
Well, here's the funny thing. For our main pillar page, we actually don't point to the product, and people might check our temperature and see if we're running a fever at that point. But we decided since this was obviously awareness stage product page, mm-hmm. we weren't going to jump to a decision stage offering. So believe it or not, among the other CTAs, I think there's about 7 or 8 CTAs on the page, but the main CTA is actually just offering people to download that pillar page as an offline resource. And I failed to mention the pillar page is completely ungated. So people can go and access it for free without giving any information at any time. But we actually have a phenomenally high form fill rate for people actually wanting to then just download that so that they can have it at any time. And that was a little bit of a leap of faith because we had never done that before. But the results speak for themselves. Depending on the month, the form fills to download that pillar page can sometimes be 10% of our overall leads.
Wow.
Yeah. So that it really speaks to the power of giving people everything they want and more in a user experience.
And definitely shows that you don't have to gate every piece of content on your site to make it beneficial to you. That maybe in a lot of cases it might be smarter to not gate content to get people drawn in and actually reading your stuff. Yeah,
and let me tell you, that was tough stuff. for us when we were just like, because we had never done that before. Everything, everything that was ebook quality was put behind a gate.
Yeah.
We wanted to use it as lead generation. So it was a little bit of a gamble for us, but it paid off in spades.
Yeah, definitely. So you one of the things that you are also working on are account-based marketing strategies. Does this kind of content feed into those strategies? Like, do you tie inbound with ABM together?
Yes. The funny thing is ABM, traditional ABM is primarily an outbound exercise, right? You target companies, you push ads their way as soon as they start to express interest in some kind of user behavior. You then, find contact info and reach out to them via phone and email. And, so that's the traditional ABM model, as well as a lot of other things you can do. But we are a dyed-in-the-wool inbound shop. We're never going to change our ways. So everything we do comes from an inbound philosophy. So we do obviously, push ads out to prospect companies, but then we want them to begin to engage with us from a content perspective. And so we send them to a resource page. We have stuff that is ungated that they can just start to read and consume. And then they begin to raise their hand by continuing to explore and, filling out forms for further ebooks and whatnot, as well as we do some retargeting. And then once they do that, then they start to get feathered into our inbound machine. And then the nice thing is, because we have so many people come into our website, our inbound machine actually begins to identify new targets for our ABM campaigns. So it is this nice self-feeding loop of, we feed people into the inbound machine, and the inbound machine identifies people that we want to put into ABM campaigns.
That's interesting, and I like how that works. Like, there's a lot of there's some kind of talk, that inbound strategies don't really work because it's harder to find the right people, or how do you know the right people are coming to you? But if they're coming in and you're finding a way to kind of qualify them or bucket them into kind of your persona categories, then you can turn around and come back at them with the appropriate account-based marketing strategy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And, and you're absolutely right. Inbound does grab some people, because the kind of content that we produce, we actually get a lot of university students that are, they're writing a term paper on encryption key management, and they need some resources quick,
Yeah.
So we get a fair amount of that, but we also feel like that's investing back into the community, because someday those university students are going to be the IT workers we want to be talking to.
Yeah.
So we may have caught them 5 years too soon, but I don't know that that's too soon,
No, I don't think so. And I don't necessarily believe that everything we do as a marketer should directly speak to the person we want to grab as a customer today. Like, there's so many other people that can influence the customer that we want today or down the road, that you kind of want to reach that broader audience to some degree. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we do look at it as kind of giving back to the community. We try and work with higher education, universities, colleges, technical colleges, because they really are producing, what we hope is going to be a stable IT community that knows these concepts. So for us to be a part of that, we're over the moon about it.
I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what's next? What kind of things are you looking at or thinking about? What new approaches are you wanting to try?
Well, ever since we launched our first pillar page, it has been an evolution in understanding how we can better serve our prospects what they need in a way that is fully digestible. So for me, and I guess the other side of me, by the way, is I'm an Adobe-ophile. I love all of Adobe's products, whether it be Illustrator, Photoshop, After Effects, Audition, so on and so forth. So I'm constantly looking to see, like, okay, well, we tried this, but what about this? And see if we can't up our game a little bit more on the user experience, and whether it's kind of pushing our boundaries as far as video goes or interactive infographics. We're constantly, we have our little test lab that we're tinkering with things, trying to figure out how we can better engage our prospects. So that's always kind of in the background, where we're constantly tinkering.
Always improving the user experience. Definitely something everybody should be doing, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Thanks, Ken. I think it's been really interesting, and the whole idea of topic clusters and content is a great way to think about how to develop your content strategy. And I assume people are thinking about that on some level in some way, but looking at it, mapping it that way, just makes so much sense. Seems so clear for how to find the right content for the right people that you're trying to reach.
Awesome. Yeah, no, happy to talk about it. This is the stuff that I wake up thinking about. So getting a chance to talk to you about it, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you everyone for listening today. On behalf of Ingenix, our sponsor, I'd invite you to sign up for the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, or there's a whole list of places you can get us. We're on Anchor, and I invite you to kind of come back and contribute to the discussion. We usually do a write-up of our podcasts as well. You can get those over on ingenix.com on the podcast section of the site. And I hope everyone has a great day. We'll see you next time.